Hello, welcome to Cover, Catechism of the Catholic Church. My name is Jillian Cook, Father Colby Missionary, and we are on episode 6. And today we're going to talk real briefly about speaking about God. And so this is from Numbers 39 to 43 in the Catechism of the Catholic Church. Paragraph 39 first points out that we have the ability to know God through human reason, and therefore there is confidence that we can speak about God. And so we can dialogue with all men about God, go and preach the good news. We must be able to speak about him. We must be able to talk about God and as he relates to things like philosophy, science, other religions, etc. And yet we realize that our language is completely inept when it comes to speaking about God, who is all perfect and all good. But paragraph 41 points out to us that can be a great starting point for our talking about God, is by looking around the world around us and seeing what is good, what is true, what is beautiful, and using those to talk about God. So we see something that is good and we know that God is all good. We see something that is powerful, we see that God is all powerful. We see something that is beautiful, we know that God is beauty. And so we take the perfections in this world and we apply them to God as the perfection of that beauty, that truth, that goodness. So that's one way that we can talk about God. That's from paragraph 41. Another way that we have to remember is that since God transcends all creatures, right? He's unfathomable, as it says in the Divine Mercy Chaplet. We continually must purify our language of things that are limited. So we end up having to speak about what God is not. He is inexpressible. He's unexpressible. He is incomprehensible. He is beyond comprehension. He is invisible, right? We can't see him with our naked human eye, at all. He is ungraspable. We're not able to grasp him, to touch him, to hold him, to keep him to ourselves. And so because our human words always fall short, this too is falling short of what God is, as we're speaking about what he is not, but it's a way of speaking about him that we can all understand. And so we realize that we really are not even scratching the surface of being able to describe who God is. And that's okay, but we have the language that you and I are able to talk about. Now, God is so good, God is so wonderful, God is so beautiful. There is one thing that I want to point out, and that is we should not be using the Lord's name in vain. We should not be talking about God in any sort of vain sort of way, any sort of speaking his name out of anger, speaking his name out of frustration, or even just flippantly talking about God without really realizing what it is that we're saying. We should help to make ourselves aware that we are speaking about the divine God. We are speaking about God, inexpressible, incomprehensible, ungraspable, invisible, perfection of beauty, perfection of goodness, perfection of truth, right? We're talking about this being that we must be reverent about when we're speaking about him, okay? So check your language today. Make sure that we are saying the name of Jesus with reverence. Make sure that when we're talking about God, it's with purpose. And let us help one another to respect this great, beautiful name that God has given us.